have a question?
Yeah.
Okay, so like I enjoy having a beer, and then there's sometimes where I'll go out and we'll have a lot. So like, how does that like is doing that just so does that going to screw everything up? Does that make sense? Is that a question?
Totally a question. Totally makes sense. Valid question. Definitely gonna talk about alcohol. So the only way to get better from where you're at is to do better than what you're doing now. So for example purposes, how much do you drink? How many drinks do you have a week? Don't be embarrassed.
It varies 10, 12. Sometimes I can have almost that in a night, but
Nice. I cannot drink like that anymore. I would die, but I used to be able to. How many days in 7 days? How are those drinks divided up?
normally at night it's just like maybe one or two. And then some days it's like I don't drink at all during the week, but then on the weekends, like you were saying, I have meal prepped and I still don't know what I'm doing and I try to do this, but then on the weekends it's kind of like Papa John's and drinking and all the stuff. So
Right. Okay. So first things first is consolidate it, I would, because you have to give your body that chance. So if you have out of the 7 days, if you're having 4 days, you have beer, your body needs to get rid of it. So it probably takes about 2 days, maybe longer, I don't know, maybe shorter, for your body to get rid of the beer that you had. And alcohol gets broken down to sugar, and sugar gets transferred to fat normally if you're not using it, right? Then you have beers again the next night, but your body's still breaking. And so it kind of piles up, if that makes sense. I can get into that. So I would consolidate it first things first. And then
what do you mean by consolidate? Like only drink
2
on
days.
Saturday? Or
Yeah, like Friday, Saturday.
That's not very much fun.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Okay, how about this? You do whatever you're doing now, get rid of one night. That's what I was gonna say, is just do better than what you're doing now, and you will continue to gain or lose weight and lose fat. The moment that's where keeping track is. So keep track of if you keep track of what you're doing and then keep track of yourself along the way. I like pictures. I don't like weight. If you have a tape measurement, cool. I like tape measurements. But we want to know composition. So if you don't know how to like test your body fat and all that good stuff, or you don't have someone doing it for you, pictures are going to tell you everything. And they're also an eye opener. So they're going to make you get that discipline. If you see yourself and you saw yourself gain weight from what you did that week, the only way to get rid of what you did that week is to figure out what you did and get better from that. So if you're having 12 drinks a week, go to 10 and maybe make those 10 and instead of 4 days, 3 days, or 5 days, 4 days. And then you'll get progress, and you'll be on and you'll feel good again. And you're gonna be like, I cut one night, and then you're gonna have to cut some more eventually, depending on where you're at. If you are happy with where you're at, that's where you're maintaining. Now, when it comes on the weekends, so that way you don't throw everything to shit, because there is still a balance in a lifestyle. I'm all for, I told my clients to not count shit on holidays and like events, like celebrate, weddings, like have wedding cake and stuff. But on the weekends, like on a regular weekend, and you want to just pizza and beer, which one do you want? Do you want the pizza or do you want the beer? Do you want the beer? Have a healthy pizza, or have a healthy something healthier for your dinner, which most people like to choose alcohol over food. So they end up having like fucking something healthy, and because they want their drink, and then drink smart. So I do love beer. I used to like the darker ones, but my taste has changed. Now I like the girly, wheat beers now. But I don't really drink beer anymore because the yeast is a lot on your body, and your body really, that probably makes you gain fat more than like liquor. So if you want 5 drinks in a night, like have 1 or 2 beers and then have some liquor. I know people say like don't, but I hope you don't get hammered. I mean, I don't know, you get hammered now? Hell yeah. But does it make sense?
Yeah. Yes, that does. That helps.
Okay, good. I mean, I like Bloody Marys and martinis. I'm an old person drinker.
Oh yeah, I meant alcohol just in general, but yeah.
But
yeah. if I'm gonna drink, I should drink liquor. That's what you're saying.
Clear liquor, yeah, that's probably the best.
Ooh,
and then
vodka.
in clubs, don't mix it with all the juice. I use essential oils, or I'll use lemon or lime juice, or just a slice of fruit or a club soda with a slice. I would say essential oils if you're any of y'all's wives, or any of my girls do it. Lime, lemon, orange, literally 2 drops, and that drink is a cocktail.
Gotcha.
You're welcome, gentlemen.
Kind of a quick question here. So I've done lots of diets too, like you said. One of the things that I always gravitated toward was eating a lot less food during the day. One of the things that still kind of surprises me is as I'm using the macros and the meal plans you've given me, it feels like I'm not sacrificing the amount of food that I need to have in order to be fit and healthy and feel good, right? So can you kind of explain why that's different?
Yeah, so thanks for saying that too. So I didn't pay him to be here, guys. Have you guys ever seen a picture where it's like a plate of food, chicken, rice, broccoli, just because that's the average, whatever that you guys think of, and then like a protein or granola bar, and it's like same calories, same macros, and it's like you choose which one you have. That's where it's like, that's why it's good, because it's flexible, right? Because you still have macros in food. So what happens is people come to me, and unless you're eating like low calories like Harold, or if you're eating healthy, you're eating too many grams of carbs and all that stuff. And that's actually what Harold was doing too. Like the way he was eating was just, it was super low calorie because he was attempting to eat healthy food, but in his calories, he was having too many grams of carbs. He wasn't having too much sugar because he's diabetic, so he watches his sugar. He was actually having too much fat. That's what he was like. Your fat was like high as hell. And you weren't having enough protein, right? And we were kind of starting to be active. So there's other things like factors that were coming into play. So what happens is you eat more food because all the food that I'm giving you, there's nutrients behind it. And because you are strength training, whether you're doing weights, barbells, CrossFit, like whatever it is, do a resistance training program, because the only way to build and tone and tighten that muscle is to break it down. So don't just do cardio. Okay. Your muscles crave nutrients. So all that food is high in nutrients, but low in calories. Whereas all that good, bad food that we like is high in calories because there's nothing in it. It's made of nothing but calories, like stuff that's not real and that we can't use. Right? So when you're building your body and you build that machine, and as you gain muscle, even if you're losing fat, you're not getting big and bulky, you're gaining muscle, your muscle wants more food. You're not going to get big and bulky because your metabolism speeds up too. So girls, even when you're leaning out and toning up, and I'm increasing your calories to 2,000 calories, your basal metabolic rate has increased because you're a badass machine now. So you're still in a deficit because you're increasing your metabolism as you do it. And that's where you stay consistent. Make sense? It's gonna, okay, this is a good thing. So this isn't really related to macros, but this is weekly planning. So once my website's launched, I will have a shop, and I have ebooks I'm gonna have ebooks like this. So Tavares, 7 days, you can talk now. In 7 days, how many days a week do you work out?
Honestly, maybe 3. And that's just cardio. Well, a little about me. I teach a cycling class. So
Nice.
that's where I'm pretty much getting my workout in. And I saw you this morning, by the way.
Oh, hey.
I need to start lifting. I haven't lifted in months. A lot has happened this year. I'm trying to stop from making that as an excuse, but I do need to lift. And listening to you about lifting more or less cardio, I was trying to get your take on that. Especially like if I'm overweight, would you consider more lifting and less cardio, or?
Not so much. So figure out, the only way you're going to stay consistent is to build a routine and regimen that you're going to stick with. So in 7 days, how many days do you teach the 3 days? Are those your cardio days? No, obviously you take one.
I teach the 3 days. And
you teach 3?
Yeah, and there's actually been a couple of days I take another class, another instructor. So I would say probably from 3 to 5 a week.
Okay.
And that's just cardio, but I haven't been lifting.
So it's not that I would do less cardio. Figure out how many days a week in the 7 that you actually want to commit to working out, because if you don't want to burn yourself out either. Focus on your own intentional extra working out that you do on lifting, because you're getting your cardio in no matter what you're teaching. Okay. And you'll go and take a class because you get sick of teaching like me. Like I like to actually enjoy a class as well. So you'll probably do 4 classes a week. So if you don't want to burn yourself out, figure out how many days a week you want to do a strength training or some sort of resistance training program. If you need a recommendation, I recommend a minimum of 3.
Okay.
I don't like an upper and lower. I don't think you break down your muscles enough throughout the week. So how you program it obviously depends on like you, and there like all that stuff matters. So of course, if y'all have any questions separately, does that help though?
Yeah, it helps. I know obviously my eating sucks, so I have to work on that as well. But also, I know you mentioned about the keto, but also, what is your thoughts on intermediate fasting?
I like intermittent fasting. It's definitely good for your digestive system. I definitely help. It's a cleanse. I like it. I don't think it will make or break you. Like people think that they have to do something or it's gonna get them there faster. And like if you like the idea of it and it works for you, because like sometimes we don't like what we first do anyway, and we end up liking it. So try it. But if like after 4 weeks, if like you're like this is stupid, like don't do it. Like, but I like it. And my lifestyle, like the reason why I did it and started it is because I didn't drink enough water and because water matters so much, especially when I was getting ready for that competition. You want to drink more water so your body doesn't retain water. So, and when I'm eating, I don't drink water either because I'm like full on food. So I wasn't eating until 12 or 1, but I was hungry when I first started because I wasn't used to it. So I was getting at least 60 to 80 ounces of water before like I had my first meal. So I knew no matter what, I was going to at least get 100 ounces that day. So I did it because of water. It helped me with water. But now I've gotten so used to it. Like I can go until 3 in the afternoon and I get busy. I just don't think about it. And I'm like, oh shit, like I gotta eat.
Yeah, see, I was thinking that because I do tend to have a busy schedule throughout the week, but as of right now, I'm off from my full time for the rest of this month. But I was
Hell
thinking,
yeah.
yeah, I love that. So I can do 2-a-days now. But I was thinking about that because the way my schedule is set up, like sometimes I don't even eat till like 11 o'clock or 12.
Just make sure you get enough protein. So if you don't know how much you're getting, log it. Because if you ask me any questions, those are the questions I'm going to ask you anyway. So at least be ahead of me and be able to answer them so we can get somewhere with the questions.
Okay.
Right. Carissa, yes, I weigh all of my food. So I use a scale, measuring cups and tablespoons, because on the serving size, it might say serving size 2 tablespoons, but the label gives you fat, carbs, and protein in grams next to them. And then on one of the slides, it was on there, and I'll send that to y'all. In the carb section, there's sugar and fiber. You want to pay attention to sugar because you want to keep it low on a daily basis because it adds up more than you think. You want to subtract fiber from the carbs that you see, and that is your net carbs. And those are the carbs that I talk about when I give you guys how many grams of carbs I want you to have, because you're going to go over that number in vegetables because there's carbs in vegetables. They're a carb. But like spinach and like all the greens, like they're carbs, but like it's all fiber too. So it's like nothing. And then scale ounces of meat. So that way, when you're logging stuff into MyFitnessPal, you can still log like tablespoons and cups because I do that. But then on MyFitnessPal, and then I'm not gonna, when you guys actually use it, then I'll tell you where to go look. You'll look at the pie chart. It looked like what it did on here. Underneath the pie chart, there's your macros and there's grams and parentheses, and that's what you look at. But I'm not gonna get into that until you guys actually come to me and you're like, hey, I did that. You gotta do it first. Is there a scale you recommend? Amazon bestseller, cheapest? Not cheapest, like good reviews. Don't get like a $2 one that has 1 review. Good. All right. I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna give you guys that 4 minutes just to go to 8:10 because I'm OCD. I'm surprised I hasn't cut you off yet because I only had this at maybe I had it at 65 minutes or 75, an hour 15. But take advantage of me. You have 4 minutes with me. Use me. Hey, Meg. Got any questions? All right. Well, let me talk about this then. So I'm going to be popping these webinars out. If you are following me on one media platform and not the other, follow the other. Okay. In the new year, I have a lot of stuff coming out. I'm really excited for it. I'm going to have a website that's going to have a membership base to it. And I'm going to have a 3-tier type thing. I'm gonna have a lot more like offerings basically, and it's gonna be tiered out so that way I can at least offer some sort of thing in every person's life. And then obviously the more individual it gets, that's, you know, the higher of the tier. But no matter what, you guys are capable of all of this. And no matter what, all we coaches do is we just know what we're doing. So like we can start off at a head start, but then we know how like bodies work, and depending on how the coach, like I just know what I'm doing. And like, but sometimes like I hit a stump too. Your professors, same thing. Like they had to take the courses in order to teach the course, right? And they fuck up when they're teaching the lecture. I'm so sorry. Todd has kids around and they totally can understand what I'm saying. He's like, you're good. That's what I'm saying. My current parents grew up around like, what the fuck? Like, so I will be hosting more webinars. So just stay tuned for those. If you guys ever have questions, just freaking ask. You know, I have tiers of consultations. If you guys ever want one-on-one time with me as well, whether it be 30, 45 minutes, 60 minutes, you know, I'm going to tier that out a little bit more for y'all. And then like, if you guys want any content or if you guys have any questions, like I put content out there for that. The bottom tier of one of my subscriptions is like a Facebook group where I throw content in there, and that's what they're going to start paying for. Right. Anything, like I'm huge on mental health, like the weekly planning. If you don't plan, you're not gonna be able to do all this shit anyway. So it doesn't matter. Like, and all that stuff gets messed up in your routine and your mental health. And it's not that you're crazy. Like, it's just like shit happens. Like, you have babies, you have kids you have to take care of, and then they have sports and stuff maybe. And then like, what do you got to do? Like, you have the kids, you got to take care of them, right? So I'm going to do a Q&A webinar for sure. You guys saw in the email, my next one is on my breast aug. So yay for Nikki, had a breast augmentation. So that'll be going into my, like kind of my 3 months. That's more for my women because I had a lot of women that really were asking genuine questions, and I'll have a Q&A going into next year. And if you guys have any like suggestions, hit me up and be like, yo, you should do a webinar on this because I need that. I'm also going to start doing live talks with other fitness influencers, some very powerful women and men as well. So if you're like, hey, like you should totally reach out, like I don't give a shit, I'll try to reach out to someone. Like I'll totally reach out if they answer my message, or a topic that you guys want to talk on. All that stuff is free for you guys. So pay attention to that. Stay tuned for that. YouTube will be up and running. Okay. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Unless you guys have any questions, we got like a little less than 60 seconds. I hope you guys have an amazing Sunday. You guys have access to me via social media and email. Okay, bye. I'm hungry. Bye, guys.